Hey, you there. Thank you for watching, and welcome to Forge Lines Forever. Today I have a 3v3 ladder match here on the most amazing Roxas map generator that kind of looks like Setton's Clutch just a little bit. So let's go ahead and introduce our teams and our players. Starting off with Team 1 in the Northwest, also known as the Blue Team. And we'll end with Team 2, also known as the Red Team, in the Southeast. Starting off with Team 1, let's go Northeastern player first. We have in Stitch Blue, it is Hannibalo. He's playing as a Seraphim for this match as a 1550 rated. Next door to him in the Southwest direction is the Royal Blue player of Sailor Moon, playing as a Cybern. He is a 1543 rated. And last but not least, for Team 1, we have in Amethyst Purple another Seraphim. For Team 1, it is Gib. He is a 1620 rated, the highest rated player on Team 1, and barely the highest rated player overall. Moving on to Team 2, Southwestern player, we have in Ruby Red, it is Tesla Max. He is playing as a Seraphim for this match. He is a 1575 rated. To his northeast in Chevy Crimson, it is another Seraphim for Team 2. It is Schumer. He is a 1543, again, in Chevy Crimson. And last but not least, for Team 2, it is the orange player of Azure Phoenix. So not really aptly named there because he would probably be on Team 1 to be aptly named. He is, again, a UEF. He is a 1602 rated, the highest rated player on Team 2. Which means for Team 2 side of the map, they have 1 UEF, 0 Cybern, 0 Aeon, and 2 Seraphim. And Team 1 has 0 UEF, 1 Cybern, 0 Aeon, and 2 Seraphim, which unfortunately means there are no Aeon players. Apologies to those loyal to the princess. Hopefully you will enjoy the game nonetheless. And for these 6 players on the map, let's take a look at their reclaim situation. Currently sitting at 7,000 mass, so it's about 1,000 mass per player. So it's something. It's definitely better than nothing. I'd like that number to go way higher than that, but 1,000 mass is nothing to scoff at. We do see major clumpage being in the ponds. Looks like it's going to be a couple of those Salem wrecks that we love to see, and it looks like a couple of other facility wrecks to the east and to the west. But that's pretty much it. All of the reclaim is in the wrecks, and it's in the water. So we see players already moving to the edges of their landmass, going to scoop them up and also get into the naval game, because just like Setton's, there are 2 ponds, and instead of there being a northwest and a southeast pond, there's a northeast and a southwest pond, but we'll still say north pond and south pond for simplicity's sake. Take a look at other exterior mixes for players to grab. We'll take a look at Team 2 side of the map. They have 1, 2, 3 quad mix positions on the front line, and then they have a nice little quad mix position towards the middle of the map, and then another one over here. And that is it. We do have the obviously customary one-off mixes dotted around the map, but those are the major locations of concentrated mass extractor locations. There's a couple of mixes in the middle, but given the fact that this is a pretty small map, it's not a full 20 by 20. It's probably about a 16 or so. I can see the northern and southern borders of the playable space. At least there's that. But again, it's definitely a smaller map. It's not a full 20 by 20. And of course, it looks like Setton's a little bit. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see some Setton's-like strategies. There's no islands. There's no other sort of thing. It's just a one causeway to the other side of the map, calling it a day. We see Naval started for Team 1 Sailor Moon, and Navy started for Team 2 Tesla Max in the southwest. And looks like maybe some dipping in the toes in the water for Team 1 in the north, and then of course Team 2 in the east here shortly. Everybody from Team 2 has made their way to the middle of the map. Team 1, the only player not going to the middle is Sailor Moon, who of course is starting his naval facility, so a little bit of advantage for Team 2. But again, given the fact that there is just one causeway, it's very unlikely that we'll see players really cross maybe this marker and vice versa, this marker. Just given it's not a great idea, and again, just like Setton's, Navy can collapse onto the middle of the map in any direction, so probably not a good idea to stay in the middle long term. It'd be better off to just kind of hold up, of course, in the corners of the map, maybe build a nuke, artillery, game vendors possibly, something. But most units, at least at the cruiser stage, we have those tactical missiles for both teams on board those cruisers, as well as, of course, Azure has them. So only Sailor Moon doesn't have access to cruiser missile tech. And of course, T3 battleships, probably just a small section. Even something like this would be pretty much out of range for the most part. Again, for the most part, but something will be able to reach the corner of the map, regardless if it's Navy or land-based or air-based, technically. We do see, again, a little bit more reclaiming going down here from Team 2 on the southwestern side, but Team 1 subs outbound from Sailor Moon trying to get a little bit more aggression and maybe deny some early expansion into Navy. Maybe, maybe not. We do see some Team 1 frigates being built. Looks like a couple of subs also being built as well. So not really going to be a denial as of yet. Schumer started his T2 upgrade in the east. T2 upgrade started for Tesla Max, and I just would not be surprised if they just go wall sections and then T2 artillery, T2 PD, and T2 AA, and then call it a day. I just would not be surprised because might as well just wall off an entire avenue of an attack from your opponent and not have to worry about it again. So we'll see. We see some unit action in the northeast between the subs of Team 1 and Team 2. They are both Seraphim subs, so no hit point advantages, no fire rate advantages, and it looks like Team 2's barely wins out by 25 hit points. But unfortunately for Team 1, some Zooey either hovered over, but most likely probably got dropped off by a transport, wipes out the facility, so a win for the sub, and he lost for Navy in the northeast. Unfortunate, but it does happen, where victories happen and defeats happen all at the same time. We do see sub action going down over here. And it looks like the frigate trying to deny some land facility expansion that are trying to be happening for Team 1. We do see some Zooey have floated over to come say hi. So maybe they floated over, but I don't see them getting by all the everything else unless they really went to the corners. But even then, you would think bombers had shown up to come say hi. So I think they were probably transported over. Somebody probably saw it and was like, yeah, that's probably what happened. And that's what I surmised. But, you never can assume. A couple of Stingers outbound to deal with the T1 spam. And gun upgrade started for Tesla Max in the middle. No upgrades yet from Team 1's players as of 9 minutes. Probably somebody going to go for T2 shortly. Everybody now is here in the middle. But we do see Azure's not necessarily in the same line, but the only player really far ahead is Tesla Max. He's not in the middle, but he's pretty darn close. I'd say this would be the center of the map, being this patch of dead grass, dirt thing. No beach, no nothing. It's just dirt. Northeastern side, we do see the subs moving in again, trying to isolate any sort of a naval aggression once again. But torp launcher online. It should be enough to deal with a couple of Team 1 subs. Of course, the Team 1 subs do have torp defense on board, but they only deny so much. And nice grab there. Grabs both of those subs before they get out of range. And another T2 upgrade is started here for Team 2's Azure. So everybody on Team 2 has T2 engineering speed on board. We have some Team 1 Mantis that just walked right on by. Even though we have Tesla Max here and a couple of other players here, seem to just kind of bleeding for, I think, not unnecessary reasons, but probably just a little bit of an oversight there that they will probably correct here shortly. A couple of raiding units here from Team 1 do kill off a couple of mexes, which does drive down Team 2's eco just a smidgen. But again, we're talking about 20, 25 mass a second at max, which is between 3 players, 8 mass a second, which reduced to is just 1 T2 mech single ringed. So it's something, but it's not a whole lot. It's not a full T3 mechs or a T3 mech single ringed or even double ringed. It's just 1 T2 mechs. T2 done here for Azure. And looks like he started tactical missile and goes, that's probably not worth it. And falls back. T2 PD has been established. And the unit's still actually behind Tesla Max position. A couple of Zooey inbound. It looks like a couple of them are going to get some shots off on the T2 PD emplacement. But for the most part, looks like he's going to be fine. Radar system will help gain some intelligence in the middle of the map and get some, not eyes, but some feelers out. What's going on in the middle. This is what Team 2 can see on Team 1 side of the map. They do see the T2 Naval Headquarters is online for both ponds. And Team 1, this is what they can see on Team 2. Nothing about the southwestern pond from Team 2. But we do see that T2 Navy is online for both pawns as well. So everybody getting into the destroyer and cruiser stage of naval combat, which I think is... I do like the battle cruiser for the UEF, so I do want to say T3, but I do think destroyer overall is probably the most entertaining of the three stages of T1, T2, and then T3/T4 combat in Navy. We do see Thams inbound because it's a little bit more posturing. It's a little bit more kind of will they, won't they? Because battleships, you just line them up and you fire at one another, and that's kind of about it. Not all of it, but I feel like it's more. I think the destroyer cruiser engagement time, the T2 stage, is probably a little bit more engaging, a little bit more faster pace. I think would be the better way to put it. Oh, look at this! We have a siren redirecting missiles from a cruiser. And then the cruiser goes, no, stop that. Stop playing catch with me. Stop it. Stop throwing my missiles back at me. Stop it. It's like look at this. It's every missile being thrown and it's being redirected. Like, no, stop it. No, I know we're trying to play catch here, but those are missiles and I don't want to be hit by missiles. We do see that destroyer inbound from a cruiser from Team 1, trying to again play the same game, but Team 2 doesn't have missile redirect systems because they don't have Cybrans, so can't play catch. Attack missile started here for Team 2's Azure in the middle. He already tried to do that once, so we'll see if he ends up finishing it this time. Stealth started on Sailor Moon. He has gun on board now. I was waiting for that sneeze to happen. It just wouldn't happen. And then T2 Suite, of course, online for Gib. And below sitting over here with the gun upgrade. So we have T2, T2, T2 for everybody on Team 2. So there's that. And then gun online for Tesla. And then TAC missile started for Gib. Again, the only UEF in the game, which means he's the only one access to Billy Nuke. I will note that everybody is over 100 mass per second. So they're trying to scale those ecos as fast as possible. T3 air online for Team 2 with another set of T2 air facilities for Team 2. Love that because both of those players that have a T2 are in the water, which means they have access to torpedoes, which is always not a requirement, but it's really a good idea. Team 1, we have T3 air online and a hair strap bomber. I'll go to investigate. And T2 air also online for Sailor Moon. Where is that strap bomber, of which I heard a little whistle that sounds... Oh, look, there it is from Team 2. Outbound, and it's an ambassador. And wanted to say hi with it's a very explosive payload, and I don't think Team 1 really liked that, so they're moving to get that thing out of here. Oh, so help me. Or so help them, I should say. Attack missile almost done in the middle of the map. Where do you see those destroyers from Team 2 getting a little bit closer because they have some sneaky little hide underneath the surface of the water nonsense. They can act like little submarines and just rip apart some T1 torp launchers. I think that was actually a sonar system. Yeah, it looks like a sonar system. And looks like they submerge and go, haha, we killed off your cruiser, haha. And the destroyers go, oh no, they're right in front of our faces. And looks like the destroyer is actually targeting the cruiser. So the cruiser's like, hey, stop that. Don't target me. Torp bombers inbound, and guess where they're going? Right for that cruiser that they completely missed, I guess. It looks like they maybe dropped the payload off, and maybe. Team 2 subs re-submerge, and they fall back. Looks like a little bit more firepower from Team 1 than they initially surmised. And Torpedo now online for Team 1 Sailor Moon. That's nice to see. I always caution going only for stealth, just because you can really get ripped apart in the water, especially if you're facing off against a couple of destroyers that can just rip apart your torpedo with their torp defense. It's probably nano, just to stay alive a little bit longer. We do see Team 1 doing a very good job of boxing in Team 2, quite literally in the corner right here. Team 1 not gonna give up. We do see lots of destroyers coming online, but you also see a nice little transport dropped off. Maybe engineers from Team 2's Azure, maybe? Don't know why it's sitting over here, but it's sitting over here. It'll distract the destroyers for about 2 seconds. And actually, maybe the subs actually. See some Team 1 subs inbound. Again, the engineers do not have any sort of water-based flotation devices. They have hover tech, so the torpedoes cannot target them. And it looks like the facility will stay alive for at least a little bit while longer, but it's not looking good. Team 1 wiping out a lot of the engineering power at the bare minimum, which means the production time will increase, which will be unfortunate because Team 1 is still... No, there's not that many more units inbound, but there are still sending units across the pond on the northern side. Team 2, Schumer, hanging out in some beachfront property, enjoying some sun. And we do see a missile outbound. Looks like... Oh, I thought I was going to go for the comm. Do they know where the comm is? No, they don't, so never mind. Oh, that would have been very lucky if he's like, I'm just going to go for that one unit in particular and just hits the comm for a bunch of damage. But T2 mechs will be eliminated. 6 mass a second is now wiped off the board for Team 1. Still, eco situation about dead even, slightly in favor for Team 1. But again, when the ecos are constantly changing back and forth as they usually are with, 10 to 15 mass income between the two teams, it's really just, yeah, you're in the lead for right now, and Team 2 is in the lead for right now, and it's always a back and forth. Power outages, a missile hits your T2 mechs or something and wipes 6 mass. It's so much a back and forth that it's really hard to really pin down who's in the lead. But it's just nice to say, hey, this team is in the lead for right now. And again, it's only before 20 minutes, so the real just spammable eco with the T3 mass fabs and whatnot really doesn't start happening until all the T3 mexes are online. At least that's usually when it happens. Another missile inbound. Team D probably should be built at some point by Team 1, but I was going to say do not target the T3 AA defense. That's probably not worth it. And there it goes. Well, the engineers were inbound for some mass storage upgrades, so that's unfortunate. But they'll build them, and then the T2 mechs will be built. So I guess they'll eventually rebuild the T2 mech. So there's that nano repair. There it is. Started here for Sailor Moon. Probably move his units up just a little bit more. Because he's kind of underneath them, but not really. I'd like him just a little bit further back so that torp defense can really work just in case Team 2 just full rushes him. But we'll see. We do see some torp bombers inbound from Team 1 Sailor Moon. Again, targeting the sub-like destroyers and ripping apart one of them. We can see them just ripping apart that Salem from Team 1. And we do see them emerge from the water or surface from the water. And firepower not favoring Team 2 because there's still, again, guns on board the cruisers from the Cybran faction that can target ground units and naval units, just like the T1, T2, and T3 AA units for the land situation for the Cybran faction. We do see Team 2 has slightly recovered. They're still stuck here in this corner, to be fair, but they're getting a little bit more momentum. Looks like, is there a TMD mixed in? Yes, there is. That's definitely helping to keep at least the secondary facilities online, spamming out a bunch of engineers for reclaim purposes, or at least distraction units at the bare minimum. And spy planning going down from Team 1 to get a readout on what Team 2 is up to. This is their update on what they can see. And then Team 2, this is what they can see. Not a lot of scouting. You definitely know these mexes are online. And probably need to keep scouting just a little bit. They need to know where 2 of the 3 commanders are. So, hey, 66.67% is better than 0% of knowing where the opponents are. In the pond, still not good numbers for Team 2. And Nano is now done for Sailor Moon. So there's that. Maybe he'll go for cloaking. Who knows? Team 2 does not have an Omni online yet. I feel like this is a little bit ambitious, being almost in the direct center of the map. He's getting a shield and he's going for other defenses, but I just feel like that's definitely a better position in terms of how far back it is. So maybe here, maybe would be better. I mean, this is even still, I think, a little bit ambitious, but that is way too ambitious, I think. We do see another frontline facility here for Team 1's Hannibal, pumping out some cruisers. They are annoying some mexes that are trying to just live their best lives, but some Team D is saying, no, stop it. And just, it's barely enough time to fire it before it impacts on the mechs. Team 1 really trying to bombard Team 2. They are blockading them essentially, but they're getting a lot of stuff online, lots of TMDs, so cruisers aren't going to work. They're getting a lot of destroyers online. Again, they can just submerge them to get them out of this blockade of nonsense. They can also do that because they are Seraphim. It is Seraphim versus Seraphim in the northern pond, Seraphim versus Cybran in the southern pond, and in the air game it is UEF versus Seraphim. So could have been a Seraphim v Seraphim game all around in the Navy, but nope. Close, but no cigar. We do see T3 started for Gib, and he's probably going to help construct this chicken that's going to be built underneath the shield emplacement. on the front line. Team 1's, that's going to be, I think, their first experimental, I believe. Team 2, you're starting anything big and exciting over here. It is only 22 minutes on the clock, so maybe something. No, another T3 air headquarters here for Tesla Max. Oh, okay, that's kind of exciting. Nuke is started here. He is building a shield. Thank you. Appreciate that. And he's going for stealth just in case Team 1 decides to come say hi. Did you see the P-Gen built here? But they think, oh, they're just putting power in the corner of the map. Not a big deal. And torp bombers inbound. They're going for the cruisers. I think they dropped a payload or two, but maybe not. Maybe the torp defense was enough to protect those destroyers. In terms of time, we're at 22, almost 23 minutes on the clock. Team 1 is almost at 900, and Team 2 is slightly over 900. So realistically, like I said, it's a back and forth. It's a very close game when it comes to eco. Map control, I mean, it is favoring Team 1, even though it is a fluid situation on the northern side, given it's water and it's a pond. It's a lot of back and forth usually. Well, not a lot of back and forth, but it can vary in terms of, do you really control this to this? Maybe. I don't know. I feel like, I mean, there's not enough to really hold the entire section of the map, but I don't know. Like, again, look at this corner of the map right here. It's just completely being ignored. This is where all the action's happening. Do you really own this? Is it there? Yes. Is it useful? No. It's just there. That's why I feel like there just needs to be more mexes in the water to make it worth it to go after all of the, nooks and crannies of the map and whatnot. We do see naval bombardment now shifting towards this mech position because Team 1's unhappy with their results over here, and Team 2 is pushing back quite a decent amount. And unfortunately, the Team D cannot protect against direct fire weapons like the lasers. They're not projectile weapons, but they are direct fire, quite literally, because they fire in a line. And everything for the squad mix position is down, so Team 2 is going to lose a little bit of eco. Now Team 1's in the lead a decent amount, almost about 100 mass in their favor. And I wonder what they're going to do with all of it. We did see that Team 2 is building a nuke with some of their mass. So Azure's at almost 300. Tesla's at 430. And then Team 1, we have two players at over 300, almost tied with one another at Sailor Moon and Gib at essentially 370 roughly between the two, 380 between the two. Because I did see a 380 at one point. Maybe possibly Reclaim related. Battleship online for Team 1 Sailor Moon. So he's gone for T3 naval technology. And he's actually going for aircraft carriers a little bit sooner. Probably to build torp bombers is probably what he's going for. And he's going for Barracudas. So he's not going just constant battleship. He's going for Barracudas. He's going for destroyers. He's going for aircraft carriers. He's going for all of these support units and only sticking with a couple of battleships. Which isn't that strange. We sometimes only see battleships when T3 starts to happen, but it is nice to see the more, expanding out of the variety of the naval units in this game. And I was going to say, are we just playing a sub match at this point? But no, they're not. They're submerged. Sorry, these are submerged. These are not submerged. So it's not really a one-sided affair, but it's one of those things where, well, you can't use your laser weapons. Oh, okay, you could just emerge from the water, and that also works too. You can just completely throw the caster off what he was saying for 5 seconds. Like, oh, it's just going to be essentially a subwarp between the two. Nope, it's not. And just constant death and destruction on both sides. And there's that one gone. Couple more destroyers remain. Torp bombers coming in to thin out the numbers for Team 1 just a little bit more. And Team 2 still, again, being driven into this box down here in the corner of the map. Team 1, they occupy a huge section of this pond, and they're just, they can't break through the defenses. It's just too strong. But Team 2 can't break out of the blockade because they're too strong. So it's kind of this rock and a hard place scenario almost. Western side, we have one battleship versus 2, so the numbers will favor Team 1 in that regard, just given the sheer firepower from Team 1. Frontline mechs is being eliminated. That's not helping Team 2. And there is that Omni that I talked about that I thought was going to be ambitious, and it was, because the chicken went, nope. Not having that today. Nope. Not today. Not in my house. I guess not in his house, I guess. Team 2, do you have a backup Omni? No, you'd have an SMD, which I'd like to see, especially because one of your teammates is going for a nuke, which is already half loaded. Does Team 1 know about it? They do know about it. Have they prepped SMD defenses? Or SMD, not SMD defenses, because that's kind of redundant. Yes, and yes, and they are loading them as we speak. They have 2 SMDs online. I do like the backup. This one protects pretty much, I think it covers, well, we can check real quick. It doesn't cover the frontline base, but it covers everything else behind it, of course, and then there's the backup one. I would like to see maybe one more here, and then maybe one in here, just to get a kind of nice berth. I do like the SMD over here, because it does protect the T3 naval headquarters. It doesn't protect anything over here, because there's no SMD, but it does protect the headquarters, which Team 1 is winning the naval fight in, for the most part. And that's really going to keep them going. If Team 1 loses this, they might have enough units to recover, but it's given the momentum that they're really enjoying right now, they probably don't want to lose it. So, smart move there. Chicken, not necessarily unharmed, but not necessarily bad or worse for wear. We do see, or too bad worse for wear. We have some T2 Ilshis inbound, which will help a smidgen, will help a little bit, but again, it's not really a whole lot of firepower. We do see a couple of Nathas, a couple of gunships, some T3 variety ones. That's going to be nice. T3 mechs is being targeted. That's another section of eco Team 2 is going to lose. Team 2's not doing well in their eco situation. They are staying relatively locked step with Team 1, but again, it's the constant just losing of mexes, which is just annoying. All the fighting, most of the fighting is happening on Team 2's side of the map, so the reclaim is going on their side, but the mexes, the structures, the other structures, the PGens, that sort of thing, are being killed off. First air fight of the game. First nuke happens essentially at the same time. And Chicken still causing some havoc over here. And now it's going this way, which is not fun, because it just ignored these mexes, but it's still going after other mexes, so I guess it's still killing after eco. Kill this, that'd be a smart idea, but there is a lot of Team 1 PD, but it's not going to be within range with that Chicken if it stays at its extreme range. Oh, it's extreme range. It's max range. And there is an SMD there from Team 1's Sailor Moon. And remember that comment I made about how there'd be kind of a loss of momentum, and that would kind of suck for Team 1 to lose all of the stuff? Well, that's unfortunate. Wipes out almost every engineer in the vicinity. SMD survives, so hey, that is important because the next nuke will not be able to take out the next T3 naval headquarters, but it does buy Team 2 enough time to get more of their battleships online, which they have 4 of them to be, in fact, online. Team 1 has 3, but they have a lot of other units, a lot of Barracudas as well. There's a lot of firepower, and that Chicken is still alive from Team 1, and he's dead. But he wiped out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Let's just say a dozen and a half. So about maybe 20 or so mexes. And it does show Team 2 drops to 1,000. Team 1 at 1.3k mass income. So that little bit of mass income might come in handy if Team 1 decides to just go for long range technology. Whether it's a game ender or artillery or another nuke, and who knows. 30 minutes almost on the clock. Team 1 at 3 players. Same thing with Team 2. So everybody made it past 30 minutes, which I think is not typical of 3v3 or 4v4s, but it leans on it happens more often because there's less players, so the likelihood that somebody dies goes down. It also does help that there was no com action at all, just because the map doesn't really lend itself to more land engagements. And the only engagement maybe was a missile that sailed over the head of Team 1's commanders. That's about it. So it's unfortunate. I like to see com action, but it doesn't always happen. So it's all right. We do see a huge resurgence in Team 2's Navy. Look at this. Pushing in. They just got wiped. Looks like they went for T3 naval headquarters for Hannibal, and that did not go well. And just a huge, just whoop. Team 2 still at T2 Navy. Yeah, it looks like they just kept pumping out destroyers while Team 1 was going for T3, and I think that a little bit lacked in production is what won Team 2 that northeastern pond, which, again, sometimes it works to go for T3, sometimes it doesn't work. So it's just, every match is different, and even in this game, it worked for Team 1, and it worked for Team 1. It did not work for Team 2. Sorry, for Team 1 over here. I know my numbers. I know my teams. I promise. Another chicken down the front line from Team 1. Again, the only way, at least by land, that the chickens can emerge on the Team 2 side of the map. So far, the first chicken made it here. So we'll see how far the second chicken gets. Ooh, artillery piece, most likely. Maybe it's a fake out. Who knows? Nuke killed off 23,000, which isn't a great nuke, but it did wipe out a T3 naval headquarters. So as much as it didn't wipe out a lot of units or a lot of structures like mass and power and whatnot, it did wipe out the ability for Team 1 to produce T3 units and even just T2 units at that, because all the facilities were gone. We do see another one over here, backup T2, actually backup T3. He's building 2 of them at the same time. Probably doesn't need to build 2, but he now has a backup. And they're both underneath SMD coverage, so hey, there's that. Team 1 eastern side. Teleporter. Ooh, teleporter started for Azure. He's done with his Billy nuke. And Schumer is running. He's getting out of there. Looks like that first chicken's coming to see the grave of its brother or cousin or dad or mom or something. The teleporter started here for Azure, maybe. Okay, Telebilly maybe on the cards here for Team 2. Don't see that very often. We like to see it when it does happen. And some AA nearby. Nuke is inbound once again. Where is this one going? Don't know where it would go. A lot of this is SMD protect. Oh, that one isn't loaded. That one is loaded. Oh, no. It's going to nuke the reclaim. Oh, that's unfortunate. Well, a little bit of a lack of communication there from Team 2 and Team 1. That's probably a wasted... That's not probably. It is a wasted nuke. That is unfortunate. And it might actually have some friendly fire. But chicken's not helping. It would have been better to just nuke the chicken at this point, if it would have hit him in time. PD trying to be built in time. That's going to get denied. Some damage was done, but not a whole lot. And Schumer's base, not looking good. He's kind of been... not feeling great. He had this quantum expedition go down. There's the nuke. He does wipe out. I think maybe he grabbed a couple of forces from Team 2, but kaboom. Not great. Nuked reclaim, also not great, but Team 1 doesn't get it, so there's that. But Schumer just not having a fun time here. Not his entire base, but that base got ripped in half. And PD being built, Ravagers started. We do see chickens laying into the P-gen grid. That possibly will be in artillery, possibly. And Billy nuke, not even loaded. And, ooh, that's going to hurt. Oh, P-gen down. Yep, that's not going to be an artillery piece, at least for right now. FAF War is online for Team 2. That's something. Air grid might be the target. Now we have Azure taking a beating. We have a lot of AA, though, from Team 2, just slowly whittling down all those ASFs. So, at a bare minimum, hey, it's killing off all the ASFs, and all that reclaim's falling in Team 2's hands, quite literally. And P-gen's trying to be reclaimed. The engineer got killed. There goes that P-gen. T3 air headquarters. P-gen gonna go down. That's some E-storage. Ooh, that's a line of E-storage there, my good man. And, T3 air headquarters is down. Oh, there goes the line. Oh, why didn't he go for the nuke? I feel like that's definitely a missed opportunity. He killed off the air grid, which is fair. But, I mean, he's going to kill off more mexes, I guess. But he could have killed off... He possibly could have gone after the nuke and stayed out of range of these Ravagers. But, missed opportunity. But he did wipe out the air grid. He wiped out a bunch of P-gens. And he wiped out a bunch of E-storage. And he ripped Schumer's base in half. So, really good chicken for Team 1. It's obviously better than the first one. So it improved. We see Yasa's online, and we see the enemy of all torpedoes in this game. Not one, but 2 megaliths. They have so many hit points. So many. And they just act as just giant bullet sponges. And they have, coincidentally, not only do they have their own torpedoes, they also have torp defense on board as well. So they just make them even more annoying to deal with. They're like harms, but they're worse. Way worse. At least you can ground fire harms. You cannot, depending on the water, can't really ground fire megas. You can try to nuke them, but I feel like that might almost be a waste of your time. Oh, here comes the torp bombers from Team 1. Do I know how to pronounce their name? Absolutely not. But they are inbound. Team 2 really kind of lacking on the everything in the southern pond. Looks like more Yassaus. Yep, more Yassaus. Might as well deploy the AA on board the Yassaus while you have them, because I don't think you'll have your battleships for long. There is some flak from these cruisers and the flak or the AA from the aircraft carrier. It looks like the cruisers are the target first, maybe, possibly, maybe. And oh, there's more cruisers inbound. I feel like they could have concentrated on one target, which I don't think they really did. I mean, maybe they went after the battleship, but I don't know. I feel like the aircraft carrier would have been better. They did kill off the cruiser, so there is that. They might go after the aircraft carrier now. They killed off the battleship finally, and there goes the rest of the bombers. Oh, they did. Look at that. They killed off the aircraft carrier. Oh, look, more bombers inbound. So Team 2 just getting bullied from the skies, and it doesn't help that there's no air. So that's not fun. But look at this. Team 1 on the northern side just losing all of that. So a huge just section of their landmass just cut off. It's like if the San Andreas fault happened and you lost half of California. It's just, nope, it's in the sea now. Bye. You don't get that no more. We do see some Team D being spammed up to deal with all the cruisers. And there is some cruisers here, but there's not a whole lot. And yeah, you could just use torp bombers. Yeah, it's annoying. You probably would lose a lot of them. But it probably would be worth it to just eliminate this at a bare minimum. 1 or 2 cruisers isn't a big deal because you can just build 1 or even 2 TMD and call it a day. This is more annoying. You just have destroyers in the pond, little bay here, just hanging out. They're not emerging, or they're not surfacing. They're just, we're just going to sit there and have some fun. 37 minutes on the clock. Team 2, 1.5. Well, they have jumped in eco. Wow. Team 1 at 1 point. I feel like, oh, that's definitely not correct. That's definitely reclaim related. Yep, there it is. Number go down. Is that legitimate eco? That is legitimate eco. Wow, that is impressive. Now it's 1.8. Wow, that's a lot of mass for Tesla Max. Dang. Where's he getting all that mass from? Oh, I guess he's starting to double ring. Not really double ringing mechs. He has a lot of T3 mexes, I think. Is really what, and he still has T2s, but they might upgrade the T3. They are pretty close to enemy combatants, which, as I say that, there are 3 crabs and 1 chicken inbound. Team 2 has 1. That's not going to be fun. Second one is under construction, but it's long ways away. More. There is another chicken here for Tesla Max over here. Man, he is. Oh, now it's down to 1.5. So, what? Is he have power outages? No, I have no idea what's going on. Because he had a ton more eco. It must be reclaim related, because there's no way that he jumps, or he falls 100 plus mass a second. I mean, again, this is 9 mass a second per. That is not 150 plus. We do see chicken going to have a hug with this chicken. And I think, honestly, this chicken's main goal is just to die. Because its ion storm will do a lot of damage as well to all these units that are hanging out. And that chicken is not chasing after that chicken. The crab is going to chase. Oh, no. Now the crab turns around and faces the chicken, which means it slows down its advance. Battleships are coming to say hi, and the chicken... No one wants to deal with the chicken. Just ignore it. It doesn't exist. We have Yassa's inbound to go after battleships now. Again, the battleships do have torps on board, and there is torp defense on board the Yassa, so they'll definitely deal with those those Yassas are not long for this world, as I mentioned them, of course. Caster Curse. Oh, look, that chicken did get finished. Look at that. And another chicken inbound. Ion Storm ripping apart the first megalith. Or the third megalith? The one in the back. And another chicken inbound. That's going to die here shortly. That Ion Storm is going to help kill off that chicken. That chicken will survive for like a smidgen more longer. And then goes that chicken. Oh, that megalith died to cruiser missile and Ion Storm damage. And oh, a little bit of friendly fire from that Ion Storm. From Team 1. And I mean, ooh, that's not... That's not a fun day here for Team 1's megalith. And look, a FAF board come to say hi. Hey, look at that. Man, Schumer control Ks? Oh, that's unfortunate. Looks like he had an issue with his connection. It says man, internet off, eject. So it looks like he had a connection interruption. So not a kill, but a departure. Unfortunate, but it does happen from time to time. That is unfortunate. But, you know, I don't know. It sucks. It does, because I'd like that everybody stays in the game for as long as possible. For, you know, if you die because you got killed, obviously that's one thing. But if you leave because of a exterior issue, like your computer restarts because of a stupid Windows update, or you lose internet, or something like that, it's unfortunate. I never count those as kills. At least I do my best not to, and go from there. It is unfortunate, but the game must go on, as they say. We have Team 1's, at least 2 of their players sitting on the front line. This one not under protection. This one is under some protection and getting more chickens. So more protection, I guess. Team 2, how's that nuke going? Well, it should be loaded. Yep, it's loaded again, and it's half loaded to another one. And he is building artillery, so look at that. He's going to build it where I thought he was going to build it, so there's that. Northern side, chicken shooing away some cruisers, and the cruisers are like, okay, fine, we'll go away. But there is a chicken from Team 2, so we'll see how that goes. 41 minutes on the clock. Team 1, 1.4. Team 2, 1.5. So a little bit in favor of Team 2, but not by much. And again, that's partly due to everything over here and the everything over there being wiped out. And Northern Navy owned by Team 2. We have some missiles outbound from Team 2. Speaking of which, looks like they're targeting some... Oh, I was going to say, please hit some aircraft. That'd be really funny. Or really unfortunate for Team 1, but it does happen. Rarely, but it does happen. Is that a Team 1 max? That is a Team 1 max. And we still, of course, have the Team 3 naval headquarters rebuilt there on the western side of things. And we have... I mean, there was a chicken that gonna come say hi, but I guess not. But there's a lot of battleships here. There is a ton of them. Dang. And they're just being bombarded by these chickens. Ion Storm, there's one, and there's two. No, ooh, I mean, it's not a bad nuke placement, considering there's still SMDs here, here, whatnot. And there's an artillery down, look at that. It's not a bad nuke. It does wipe out an immediate threat, being these battleships and the aircraft carriers. That might give some pushing power for the remaining fleet for Team 2. They have a couple of battleships. The aircraft carrier is gone, so a little less potent of the nuke. But hey, it might clip that chicken, which that's not going to be helpful. Ooh, kaboom! There it goes. Clips the chicken. And the teleporter is now done for Azure. Took him almost 6 minutes, I think. Well, sorry, almost 5 minutes. I can do math. And artillery wipes out this little chunk of an air grid. Shielding was built by the Duke, so that's good to see. Nuke is up to almost 45, which, if you consider this is number 1, number 2, number 3, not great averages, but it did wipe out an experimental. It did wipe out a Team 3 naval headquarters and the other facilities, but it did wipe out Rex, so not great, but not bad. It's kind of average. In terms of mass on the map, that's a lot of mass on the map. 320,000 mass in reclaim on the map, enough to build anything at least once, and then almost halfway to another one. We do see artillery is starting to land on the artillery from Team 2. And strap bombers? Oh, that's a chicken, and that's a dead chicken. Ooh. Wipes out a P-Gen. Wipes out another. Nope, doesn't wipe out another one. Doesn't cause a cascade, but the chicken from Team 1 gets away. And nice defensive operation, though, from Team 1. It looks like they're building more P-Gens and whatnot for power requirements, probably for artillery from Team 2. Do they know about Team 1's artillery? I would assume so. Oh, yeah, they know about it. Okay, so never mind. Team 2... Oh, I thought there was an artillery piece. Never mind. Do they only have the one Oh, see, okay. See, this is my concern. Because if Team 2 only has one SMD, all Team 1 has to do is wipe the SMD out and then nuke Team 2. Problem solved. And I think well, granted, if their eastern side was still there, they could launch a nuke from that side, but it doesn't. They could maybe build one here and maybe snake it right on by. Yeah, they probably could. Yeah, it would be close. It would have to be very precise where they put the nuke, but they could get away with just barely inching it over the edge there. But we'll see what Team 1 ends up doing. We do see the first one is done. Second one is being built by Sailor Moon, and a third one being built by Gibbs. We have 3 artillery pieces soon to be online. Tons of strap bombers hanging out. And a megawatt says, no, absolutely not. Go Away. I am done with this nonsense. All the cruisers are like, "Oh, we want to shoot at him, but he keeps moving. Stop moving." And we have battleships moving in on the southern pond. Not that many more for Team 1. I do like that the destroyers are taking the brunt of the damage as the battleships are just bombarding them. You'd probably want the battleships to take the brunt of the damage because of the higher HP, but the destroyers do inflict a lot of damage when you consider that the battleship's main advantage... This one should have been dead seconds. Oh, no, no, still no. And there it goes. Okay. But the destroyers do more damage. The battleships just have better range and HP. So really the battleship is just, hey, attack me. I'm Mr. Mises. Look at me and just shoot at me the entire time. But sometimes, when those smaller units get in, it's just not a fun time. When you get a bunch of frigates surrounding a battleship, that's why it dies very quickly. Because yeah, the battleship is great for just killing off, a lot of HP from a unit, but when the unit dies in one shot and you have to wait for a reload, kind of like the Percy, where you might kill a T2 unit instantly, but now you gotta wait for the reload. That kind of doesn't help when you're facing, a bunch of them. Strat bombers almost wipe out the Fat Boy. First chicken is down. First chicken from Team 1 is down. Looks like the chicken's gonna go into that little brick wall there. And second Fat Boy's now made its appearance, probably wishing it had more AA nearby. Another air fight. Team 1 wins another air fight, and I still feel like they might be underutilizing their air a little bit. Yeah, Team 2 it has AA defenses and whatnot kind of scattered around the map, but I mean, we have about a dozen or so strat bombers here, and that could wipe out an air grid, that could wipe out a nuke, that could wipe out the artillery piece. And I hear an explosion, and it's a Billy nuke in the corner of the map. Azure drops that Billy nuke, says no thank you to the air grid. There is a T3 air recorder separate of the main grid, so that's smart there. Is he going to launch another one? Where's he going? Oh, he's going to get out of there. Team 1, where are... All your torp bombers are here. Oh, guess where they're going? Guess where they're going? One's already dropping a payload. It's going to take 6 strat bombers to kill him. Well, technically 7 if you count the regen that he gets. But he doesn't get a lot of regen. Oh, oh wow, he is booking it. Look at how fast that teleport is going. Granted, he's not going that far. He's only going over here. But, oh, he makes it. Man, he didn't charge Telly with Shift R. Says Azure. But don't... What? I don't know what that means. I don't know. It probably references something, but I have no idea. We have the T3 naval headquarters now down for Team 1, which means no more T3 units from Team 1's Navy on the western side. Now, Team 1 might be locked out of Navy right now, and artillery still landing on that air grid, or near the air grid / artillery piece for Team 2. Shielding just trying to be spammed up as quickly as possible, and the artillery, of course, needing to be built. That Pigeon probably will get hit. I promise I did. I do not do that on purpose. I'm sorry. I just say, oh, it's probably going to die, not expecting it to die immediately when I say that. Do not mean for that to happen. Ground firing those harms. See, this is the thing about harms. You can ground fire them. They are not as annoying to deal with as the megaliths that just sit in the water and just take up shots. And yes, you can eventually deal with them like you can every unit, but it just takes so long. Especially if they have, some veterancy. It takes even longer. Another bomber, the raid inbound. That battleship is down, but there's a lot more AA here. Looks like, actually, no aircraft carriers, just some flak from the cruisers and the ASFs. And we have megaliths sitting on the shores being shot at by those battleships. That's not a fun time for those megas, just taking damage unnecessarily. That mega is almost dead. That's not fun. And those megas are going home now, it looks like. And maybe they're trying to lure the battleships into a closer range, maybe. Who knows? It looks like there's an SMD here and an SMD here that could easily be targeted by Team 2. There's another one that's definitely within range here shortly. Team 1's second artillery, of course, is online. Third artillery is almost online. That would probably be enough to kill the artillery piece that was just built by Team 2, but he's just going shield spam all day. Still surprised he hasn't gone for the nuke. It might be out of range, maybe. Is that out of range? Is artillery out of range? No, it shouldn't be. Nah. You might be able to clip the the P-gen, but that's probably about it. This one probably is within range, I would assume, given how close out of range the one from Gib was. And the shielding is down around the SMD is now down, and the Omni should go down soon, given, it's one of the best things in the game to have just at your disposal. We have spy planes over top getting a readout on what's going on. We have 3 chickens, 1 chicken, 1 chicken. We have 5 chickens in the water on the eastern front. They're just being built. They're just being spammed over there by Azure. Just got to spend all that eco, I guess. And the chickens are coming to say hi, taking the fight to the battleships, it looks like. And hey, if it works, right? If the battleships are within range, you might as well just shoot at them in the water. That, again, you have to use the battleships at their range, because not literally anything, but a lot of things could just be like, yeah, we're just going to walk into our range, or have you be in our range, and we'll shoot at you, and we'll wipe you out. How does it feel? And another fat boy dead. That's what, number 2 dead? Number 3 dead? 2 dead, at least. And T3, ooh, T3 naval headquarters is down for Team 2. Oh, I didn't turn those back on. There we go. The only problem, though, like, yeah, you took out the T3 naval headquarters. That's great. However, Team 2 already has the Navy on lock. You're not stopping them from having Navy. So, yeah, you wiped it out. But they probably weren't going to use a lot of T3 units anyways. They already probably have as much as they need at this point. And the crabs are just being bombarded by the battleships at their range, at the battleship range, not the megalith range. And, yep, there goes one. 51 minutes on the clock. Still, nobody else has died. Again, I don't count Schumer has died. I just said he had an unfortunate incident and had to go home. That's about it. He just teleported home. We saw an explosion, but he probably just, was it hunkered down from Subcom 2 or something, where like the comm can go into like an emergency like lockdown or something and it won't die. Something like that. I know they used it in like one of the last missions for the campaigns, or at least for the UEF and the Aeon one, I think. Or the Cybern one. Whatever it was. I should probably do videos on the campaign for that game. I feel like the story is pretty good in the second game. The game itself isn't great. It's not like this one, but I think I did enjoy the story for the second game, because essentially the story is the same for the most part for each faction in this game, but in that game it's actually like a continuous story beyond, like, through the factions. So I thought that was pretty cool. Anyway, kaboom! Wipes out a fat boy, a monkey lord. That's unfortunate, and some strats that were sitting there. That's also not fun. And GG says Sailor Moon. Is there going to be a recall vote, maybe? I mean, yep, there's the recall vote. 1, 2, and 3 question mark? Well, that artillery piece is down, so that's unfortunate. We'll see if oh, yep, there's the recall vote. And Team 1 gets out of the Gib control Ks at the last second, but it doesn't really count because he teleported out anyway. And there is the game. Team 2 wins it. They had 1 casualty, quotation marks, but that's just how the game goes sometimes. Team 2 wins it, and honestly, I mean, I think it's just an all-around really good game from both teams. It was just Team 2 couldn't really, no, they tried to do something with the Navy on the northern side. There was 5 chickens stacked up there, so if this wasn't going to work or this wasn't going to work, that was not going to help at all, and it was going to be inbound. There is some torp bomber sitting in. There's 2 chickens. There's another artillery piece being built by Gib. Of course, this one is down. There's a nuke inbound that would not have landed because of the SMD here, and it was actually almost loaded to all 7, which you don't really see that much. But was that nuke launch? It was launched. Look at that. It made its starting to make a little curve there. But that's the game. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you did, let me know down in the comments. Leave a like, subscribe, share the video, all that sort of thing that YouTube loves to see. And I will see all of you in the next one.